What's up, party people? How are you? Happy September. I hope you're loving the very beginning of fall. And when I say fall, I do mean the real estate market, and I also mean a little tiny bit of relief from the oven that is DFW in August. So September is quite welcome, and I hope your fall's off to a great start. I have 0 available spots on my calendar because I have children and it is fall, but it is good and it is wonderful. And there is a rapidly closing window of real estate opportunity that we are going to get into today.
Do you know how I know it's fall?
Because I say it all the time?
No.
Okay.
Because I was in Costco last weekend, and not only did I see Halloween stuff up,
saw it in Walmart.
I also saw Christmas trees up.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
And
Made my heart happy.
And you were thrilled.
Only a few months to go.
Love it.
Santa's coming to town.
Yes, he is. Oh my God.
It's September. It's a little early for that one. All right, folks. Fall is in full swing in the real estate market, and we're just getting the very early glimpses. Hopefully second summer, or by now it's probably third summer, isn't around the corner. But we do want to talk about really good strategy that has maybe 10 days, 7 or 8 days left in it, where we think you can win really big. Probably the best residential real estate win in DFW that will be here for the rest of your lifetime. And I mean that. I'm not exaggerating that. I believe there's an opportunity between now and the next Federal Reserve announcement for you to take advantage of multiple compounding benefits in our market that we've been helping people with all summer, or at least all late summer, that you can take advantage of or not. I suggest you do. 214-310-0008. You can call or text. We'll set you up with a free strategy session with the Todd Tremonti home selling team. We'll get you a full-time, fully dedicated, world-class agent specializing in your area and on your side of the business, whether it's buying or selling. And if you need to buy and sell, you have twice the professional leadership and advocacy and guidance and protection. It's a really great way to do business. It's not normal. It's very rare in real estate, but we're really proud of it. 214-310-0008, and we'll set you up with the free strategy session.
108 days till Christmas, Todd. 108 days.
108.
This first segment is, as always, going to be brought to you by Patrick Glowes and his incredible team over at Cardinal Financial. If you are looking to get a mortgage, refinance, if you had just got general questions about what is going on when it comes to lending, reach out to Patrick. Go to his website. You can start an application, patrickglaros.com, G-L-A-R-O-S, patrickglaros.com. 972-728-3420 is the phone number. NMLS number 308804. And as always, you can head over to toddtremoniteam.com. You can click on the radio tab. You can find all of our recommended pros and vendors right there. You can get a home valuation in less than 60 seconds, where you can find out what your home's worth, what it would rent for, sell for. You can get cash offers. There are so many things to do. Head over to toddtremoniteam.com. Okay. I see and hear the word psychology, and I immediately jump to like psychological thrillers, of any type of documentary that's on like the psychology of people and like different scenarios and things like that. That's not where we're going. We're not going Silence of the Lambs type of thing.
Not a serial killer.
We're not going serial killer documentaries. We're going the psychology of a seller. Okay? So we want to talk about what is the current psychology of a seller? Yep. What should the current psychology of a seller be if it's not what we think it currently is? And then what are some of those expectations and things? So let's start with, what are you seeing is the current psychology of a seller, regardless of whether or not that's the right psychology or not?
I'm going to give you a direct answer, and then I'm going to unpack it. The current psychology of sellers is overwhelm and misunderstanding. So overwhelm at life and everything, and a misunderstanding of the current market. So let me unpack that, though. I was a psychology major in college. I didn't finish with that degree, but I really was passionate about it, and I'm still obsessive about how the mind works and what motivates our decisions and what our subconscious instincts are. And so this is a big deal to me, and our business in many ways is built around human psychology. The psychology of a buyer, the psychology of a seller, the psychology of the marketplace, And I think that's why we excel. That's one of the reasons why we excel, and our agents do well, and our clients get massive success, much, 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 much better success than is normal in the typical realtor community. So all that being said, there is a very real sense among sellers right now that they have missed their best opportunity. Some of them believe that they should wait. There's a greater opportunity coming, but many are simply confused. They're anxious. They're overwhelmed. They're fearful. And many others are in denial that the market has changed, and they want, crazy runaway 2022 type appreciation. They want, everything to sell in 2, 3, 4, 5 days. And so there's a bit of a disconnect right now. We're catching up. Sellers are beginning to realize, okay, there's been a shift in things, and it's been here for a while. And so some sellers do have realistic expectations, but many are now unaware that their attitude and their posture towards selling their home should be optimistic but patient. Optimistic but also patient. And so there was rampant optimism for the last several years, but there wasn't a lot of patience, if any. I used to jokingly say lots of sellers were trying to write their phone number on a paper plate and just tape it to the mailbox out front and sell their house for massive money, which was not really what was happening. And that thinking hurt a lot of people. But there was rampant optimism and very, very little patience. Patience is nearly always the right decision, at least the openness and willingness to be patient. And that's what's wise for sellers right now. Our average days on the market, meaning the time it takes from when a home goes on the market to when it gets fully under contract and to a full agreement, is longer than it's been in the last 3 years. It's not that long, but it's longer than it has been for the last, 3 or 4 or 5 years, even depending on where you are. Now, look, I've been a real estate broker through the 2008-9 economic crisis. I've been a real estate broker through high interest rates, low interest rates, average interest rates. I've been a real estate broker through recessions, through stock market ups and downs, and all the things. I've seen days on market in this market almost at 200 days in certain categories. We're nowhere near that right now. In most places, we are still in the 30 to 50 day range. And in some places, we're notably less than that. But generally speaking, we're talking about it taking a month or two to sell a house instead of a week or two. And sellers just need to understand that. That doesn't mean things are bad. It's just stretching out the timetable. There's fewer buyers. They're taking their time a little bit more. They're not finding a house at 8 a.m. on the website and going to see it at 9 a.m. They might see it when they check the market a couple times a week and then schedule to go see it next weekend or this weekend. Now, that is dangerous because some houses, when marketed well, priced well, and in great condition, are still selling with multiple offers or still selling very quickly, but not nearly as many as were 2 years ago. So seller psychology needs to be a little more honest. They need to understand the reality of the market and be more honest with the reality of the day, a little more patient, but it does not need to be pessimistic.
Yeah, it's curious because I think right now people are getting so much data from so many places. Yeah. I heard somebody saying that the number one piece of advice that I don't think it was real estate specific, but it was something, I forget the exact topic, but they were like, what's the number one piece of advice you're giving people? And they were like, get your content from less places.
Yes.
Like,
amen.
Don't get as much things from as many places. Yeah. Like, identify the ones that are reliable.
Yes.
And then just focus on that.
Yeah. And by the way, if you think we are a reliable source, which we are making every effort to be, check out the podcast wherever you get podcasts, DFW Real Estate Weekly. Not only can you get all the radio show episodes, you can get shorter clips topically, as well as bonus episodes we do that never air on radio that are just for our podcast audience. So you should check that out. You should check out the YouTube channel. You can just go to toddtramoniteam.com and click videos or search my name on YouTube. We have a channel for areas around DFW and general real estate information. And then we have a page or a channel dedicated to homes on land. Just search my name and Big Backyards on YouTube. And we have, a blog, a Google profile, social media profiles, lots of stuff out there. But Ian's right. If you believe that we are a good, accurate, honest, ethical source for you, then stick with us. as opposed to having 42 sources of real estate information where there's no possible way that they are all ethical or honest. And I can tell you that almost all of them are not even motivated by what's good for you. They're motivated by views and clicks and links and downloads and likes and subscribes and all those things. Now, let me say this really quickly.
And now this.
Most sellers are highly analytical and most buyers are highly emotional. That doesn't mean that just because you buy a house, you become more emotional. You're a full-time emotional person. But the process of selling is typically, what can we get for this? It's spreadsheet mathematical thinking. How many days, how much money? On the buy side, it's what can our life be like here? Where will we do birthday parties? Where will we do date nights? Where will we sleep? Where will we rest? Where will we do homework? Where will I study? Where will we watch movies? Where's grandma going to sleep when she comes for Christmas? So the selling side is analytical. The buy side is more emotional. But you're asking me, what is the psychology of sellers? We just talked about right now, what are sellers wrestling with in their thinking and feeling? I'm telling you, almost universally, we're also up against the fact that sellers tend to be really black and white. And right now they need to see the gradient nuances of this market.
Yeah, let me tell you about DP Lambert and his team over at Goosehead Insurance. If you haven't shopped your home insurance, auto insurance recently, do so with DP. He's a broker, so he's going to be able to take a look at all of the insurance companies that are out there. He's going to be able to compare them all against each other, and he's going to make sure that you get the best coverage for the absolute cheapest price. He's done so for me for years, Todd, clients, family members, friends, so many people
I
we
shopped
know.
something with him this week. Within like less than an hour, I got exactly what I needed back. Amen. Boom, done deal.
He'll be relooking at my home insurance here in the next 2 months. I think it's up. dp.lambert, Lambert, dp.lambert at goosehead.com is how you can email him. 214-614-8595 is his phone number. Go to toddtremoneyteam.com and you click on the radio tab and you can find all DP's info and everybody else that we talk about on the show, plus others right over there. Okay, so today's market, Saturday, September 7th. What are we seeing? Who's winning? Who's losing in today's market?
All right, here's who's winning right now. Buyers who are capable of buying, meaning you're financially prepared and you want to buy, and you're getting ahead of the election, of the Federal Reserve announcement that's coming very, very, very soon, and rate reductions are expected, and you're getting ahead of the seasonality of wink, wink, winter, which in Texas doesn't always mean much. And you're certainly ignoring the spring, summer stereotype, one size fits all approach. So the buyers that are benefiting from all of that, meaning they're acting now, are getting ahead of the heavy, heavy competition that we expect will come if rates go down, which everyone expects. I'm not saying it's a sure thing, but all the professionals, the economists, the commentators on all these things, the financial gurus are saying that. They're getting ahead of the, statistically speaking, every presidential election in the last 40 years except for one has seen home values spike or at least bump up afterwards. And the one that didn't was basically slightly flat after the late 80s of, the savings and loan bust and rate, massive inflation. And you're getting ahead of all of the feelings of transition, which is the seasonality, the holidays, the election, the end of the year, and all those things. So those people are winning right now. Cash buyers are winning really big right now because they're not having to deal with slightly higher rates, and they're having many, many fewer buyers to compete with, and they have more homes to choose from, and they have sellers that are willing to do repairs and be negotiable and give credits back and be able to provide home warranties and things like this. The sellers that are winning right now are the sellers that are slowing down before they speed up. They're getting a full game plan together. They're getting the house prepped and ready. They're following our 7-step proprietary marketing system to create scarcity and urgency and all sorts of other things that we do for our sellers so that the buyers that are out there are coming to and competing over their homes. They're paying the premium and they're doing it quicker.
Yeah, I also think it's people, especially on the buy side. Look, if you can't afford to do something, I get it. But if the reason you're not doing something is because you're fearful
or you're confused,
but you're like, no, I'm scared of doing it. I like it right now because of the rates, right? It's like, stop being scared of the rate, like because as soon as that rate comes down, your competition goes up.
And your price of your house goes up.
Like, you can go Google whatever you want to Google, but you're going to see the same thing over and over and over when it comes to mortgage rates and buying homes right now. There's a ton of articles out there that's like, hey, if you're one of these people that thinks I'm going to wait until the rate comes down because that's going to be easier and better for me to be able to buy a house, it's just not.
Yeah.
You may find a day where that might be the case.
You may be the 1% or the one fraction of 1% that just does perfectly time everything.
Cost and supply and demand has been a correlation that's been proven over as long as economics has been a thing.
Yep.
Like, as soon as that cost is more available, because interest rates have come down, so therefore borrowing becomes easier, therefore people can do these things, more people can also do the same thing.
Yeah, and Courtney and I were talking about this on a show recently. We are overly programmed, and we've done it mostly to ourselves, to emphasize and obsess about rate. Yeah. It's like we've made that more important than the actual price of the thing
of the
that
house
we're borrowing at that rate for. So it's like, if the house is $400, I'm good at 3%. But if the house is $500, I'm good at 3%. Like, whoa. That's a real big difference. So it's like people,
bigger. That's a bigger difference than 400 at 5% or 6%.
It's just crazy. Now, I'm not saying the math isn't real, but a lot of people aren't really doing the math. They just like the sound and the feel of the rate, the interest rate.
Because that's what they're being told.
I know.
And everybody's saying that.
But that has not always been the case. That has been the case since we've had such an unusual, sustained period of sub 7% mortgage rates. When I started in the business, 7% was an incredible rate.
We were 6.75 when we got our first home in 2000, whatever, 8.
And we're not beating people up about rates. We're just saying the people that are winning right now are the people that are being more strategic, and we are happy to create strategy with you, for you, and then you can use it now or not.
Whenever I've bought a home, like, I've never once bought a home based on the interest rate.
Nor have I.
I've bought a home based on what can I afford, and is what I can afford available to purchase on the market.
To me, having the right home, the ideal fit home for you and your family, has so many non-financial benefits and factors that when you want and need a home, if you can afford it, you do it. Yeah. And then you make the best of it. That doesn't mean you just throw money around. I'm not saying that. I said if you can appropriately afford. I believe in biblical stewardship principles, so we're not over borrowing to do stupid things, but we would be willing to compromise on size of the house or location or whatever to get our family in a home that's a great fit for our family and our lifestyle, and then we'll deal
where you need to go. That's the smartest thing you can do.
Yep, free strategy session, 214-310-0008, or online at toddtremonti.com, or like Ian said, Google us, go to the website, fill out any form, call or text any phone number. It doesn't cost you anything. Unless it's going to cost you 30 minutes to 90 minutes, however much you want to use to get a lot more clarity and confidence about what's happening in the opportunity for you in this market. ToddTremontiTeam.com.
You know what it might cost?
What's that?
It might cost like $40,000 paying over what a house is worth
if you don't prepare. Yeah. We always say you cannot have that conversation too soon, but sadly, most people have it too late, and they have fewer options and less flexibility, and they just win less. So 214-310-0008. Let's help you win, especially in this very short window of opportunity that we think has about one more week left on it. 214-310-0008 or online at
ToddTremontiTeam.com.
What's the point of somebody getting a home valuation?
So many things. Tax value, making sure you're being taxed accurately, making sure you know the value of one of your greatest assets in the event that you wanted to sell it, borrow against it, utilize it in an overall balance sheet, spreadsheet, net worth sheet, make any sort of other investments and appropriately understand your financial outlook, thinking about renting it out, investing in others. I could just keep going. It's such a valuable piece of data to have, especially when you can get it for free in 1 minute.
Wanted to give a shout out to Mia. Not going to say the last name, but you know who it is. Mm-hmm. Mia jumped on the website after she bought a home with you 14 years ago. Mm-hmm. She did the home valuation last night and then responded to the message that she got. And she said, absolutely love you guys. I used the site to get an idea on my hearing tomorrow for my taxes. Bought the house from Todd 14 years ago and love your customer service and your resources.
Mia's amazing, and I'd be very careful about where she works, but shout out to all the boys over there. Pretty cool. Appreciate you guys and what you do for our city. Okay, if you would like to know what your house is currently worth and make sure that you're being taxed accurately, or make sure you understand your total asset and liability and your financial picture, you need to know what your property is worth. It doesn't cost you anything. We don't have to bother you unless you want some help from an agent or a broker. And all you have to do is just go to toddtremonteteam.com and click the home valuation button. You'll put in some very basic information like your address, and then it will automatically calculate that. If it doesn't look accurate or you think it might be missing some data, you can just reply to that email that sends you the report and say, can I get someone to dig deeper on this? Or can I get a custom valuation? And then you can get one of our full-time, fully dedicated real estate agents from our Richardson office or our Fort Worth office. And they'll spend a little bit of time getting more information from you and giving you a custom deep dive valuation. But all that starts online at toddtremonteteam.com. Just click the home valuations tab. We are here for you, folks. We are here for you if you're buying, selling, renting, or simply just enjoying the home that you live in. When it comes time to remodel, when you need a repair, when you need a little bit of advice, use this valuable asset that you have at no charge. It's just a phone number. Save it in your phone, and whenever you need a plumber or a roofer or an electrician or a flooring person, or you want to do the garage floors, or you want to add a pickleball court, or you need someone to look at your pool, or you need pest control, or any of those things, you shouldn't be out there Googling and gambling and hoping you find the right person. We are working with these vendors thousands of times a year with our clients all across DFW. We're happy to be the concierge and the filter for you. All you need to do is just save our phone number in your phone and check with us anytime you need real estate help. Even if you're not buying and selling and we're not going to earn a commission, obviously we'd love to earn your business when that stuff comes up. But even before that, we are happy to provide that resource to you at 214-310-0008. Just save it in your phone under Todd Tremonti or Todd Tremonti Broker or Radio Broker, whatever you want. 214-310-0008, or just Google my name, Todd Tremonti. You're going to find tons and tons and tons of resources there. Our Google profile has over 700 reviews. You can see what other people say about our buy side, our sell side, our guarantees, our proprietary systems. You can see just what they say about the kindness and expertise of our team. You can find reviews about each and every different team member, and you can see videos and YouTubes and podcasts and all the things. Just Google Todd Tremonti or give us a call, 214-310-0008. And never, ever, ever forget,
Find out what your home would sell for right now in under a minute at toddtremonteteam.com.
what is up, party people? We got a little DFW Real Estate Weekly for you right now. Thanks for coming back to us. Appreciate you hanging with us through the break. We got lots more to get into, and some of it is a little snarky, if I'm being honest with you. We got to get into how real estate agents often feel about their own clients, about the industry. We're not finished talking about the fall and all of the greatness that is the season of fall and the real estate market of fall. So don't go anywhere. And if you've got questions, you call or text them to us right now at 214-310-0008. That's 214-310-0008, or you can always find us online at toddtremonteteam.com, or just Google Todd Tremonti. You're going to find lots and lots of ways to very easily get in contact with us on social media, on the website, email, text, phone, whatever works for you. We are happy to help, and we believe that there is an unbelievably favorable and very unique window of opportunity for buyers and folks selling and buying that has about 8 days left on it. We'll talk more about that as we make our way into this show.
As we always tell you, Patrick Gleros and his team at Cardinal Financial, that's who you need to reach out to when it comes to getting a mortgage, when it comes to refinancing, any questions about the mortgage industry. Reach out to Patrick and his team, patrickgleros.com. GLAROS, patrickglowers.com, 972-728-3420, NMLS number 308804.
All right, folks, if you've got questions, send them to us. Let's get into what you want and need help with around your residential real estate, whether you're just enjoying it, you're buying, you're selling, and we are here for you. 214-310-0008, ToddTremontiTeam.com. I know, Ian, we wanted to talk a little bit about the industry as a whole, and I'm keeping an eye on our Facebook Live right now, and I'm seeing other real estate professionals. So we'll find out if they like or don't like what we are about to say. But let's hear it, and then we'll talk about whether it's true and what it means.
Yeah, so the first half of the show, we were talking about the psychology of sellers and buyers in this particular market and what people are, how they're thinking and what they should be thinking. But I want to get your thoughts on something here, on a phrase. Ready?
Yep.
Buyers are liars and sellers are too.
Buyers are liars and sellers are
Right,
too.
you all heard me.
You heard me. That is, in fact, something that agents and brokers say all the time. And it's obviously not a real uplifting thought. And I'm not going to say that it is always said in mean spirits. Sometimes it's a bit of a joke. But the reality is that buyers are not typically liars. They are often incorrect, but they are not all that often, in my experience, just terrible liars.
Right.
But they're often misinformed, and they have convictions, strong feelings, and confidence in their bad information. And that's led to people saying buyers are liars. The other thing is buyers are often ignorant. And again, I'm not saying you're an ignorant person. They are ignorant of the marketplace. They're ignorant of their strategy. They're not aware. So, for example, a buyer might say, I want a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom, 2,500 square foot house. They're not aware that there actually might be a 2,300 square foot house that would be way better for them. And so later they end up buying a 2,300 square foot house. And people are like, they're liars. They said they wanted this and they ended up buying that. Or they said they were going to buy this summer and they didn't buy for, life happens. They're not liars. They're just not quite sure yet, or they're not informed, or they're not as confident, or they didn't know about all the opportunities to them. And then the end of that is, buyers are liars and sellers are too, is similar. However, I will say, in my experience, if one party to the transaction is more likely to be misleading than the other, it would be the seller. And the reason for that is sellers are really overwhelmed and fearful about disclosure. They're worried what they have to tell the buyer and what might sound good or what might sound bad about their property or about their price or how they came to their pricing number or whether they have multiple offers. And so we see sellers put into positions where not telling the whole story or honestly being misleading seems like it's potentially advantageous to them. And for that reason, I have witnessed, if not a lot of lying in my whole 20 plus year career, but if I've seen it, I've certainly seen it more on the selling side. But this is a phrase that's really more of a commentary about how agents often feel about their clients and the consumer. And it just points to me to how truly difficult it is to be a world-class real estate agent. I don't think the consumer understands that very well because all the TV shows show it as agents getting dressed up, going to cocktail parties and making a bunch of money and not working that hard. And that is just a very poor view of the best in our industry and really doesn't at all show what we do and what makes us valuable.
That's the LA real estate, correct?
That is the TV LA New York City version. I'm not even sure, as a matter of fact, I am sure that that's not even how real estate's typically done there. But if it's done that way, it's usually done there.
Do we have a Dallas version of that?
Back in the day, I'm going to be real careful with what I say here, but back in the day when I was really new in real estate in DFW, when email chains were a big deal, remember that? You'd get an email, it's like forward this to 20 people.
Yeah.
There was sort of this bit, and I don't even know who the creator was. Someone's going to hear this and know it. And it was called something like Chester McMillionaire or something like that. And it was all about the $30,000 millionaire real estate agent in DFW. and they were hilarious.
Okay.
They would get emailed all around about how this guy was leasing his 3 Series BMW and, having sushi and cocktails and doing all of his real estate, which is this hilarious stereotype, and never actually selling anything and not making any money and not helping anybody. And it was all about him and his ego. They were hilarious. But yes, that was like the Dallas version of that. And I think there's a little bit more of that mentality in the high end, but it's certainly not the norm. So the stereotypes don't really help you very much. Getting a great agent who's actually got a marketing system and a proprietary plan and some staff is what it's about. But this whole thing is not about us. It's about the relationship between the consumer and the marketplace and their confidence in this phrase that's really popular, that buyers are liars and sellers are too. And at the root of it, what it really comes down to is often is ignorance or not having the right information. And that's not necessarily the consumer's fault. The media and the public perception and all the stereotypes are just at odds with buyers and sellers being successful, which is why we believe real estate agents should be full-time, fully committed, and at least connected to other resources. We don't think our team model is the only way. We certainly think it's the best way. But we think you can have a great agent that's a solo agent as long as they have some resources and help around them. You can have a great team, a great brokerage, whatever. But we believe this one part-time person winging it, well-intentioned, trying to do it all is problematic at best. And often the consumer lacking information and lacking clarity is not their fault as much as it is the marketplace, the media, or poor agents. So There you have it.
Okay, cool. Love it. Okay, we mentioned we're heading into fall, right? We're almost technically in fall. But
we're in the fall real
like
estate market. We are hopeful that the fall season is any day now.
So definitely has been a little bit better, but as temperatures continue to cool off, what are some of the things that homeowners need to be doing now to prep for the winter, prep for the fall, or just deal with kind of the heat from the summer and some of the things that might have done to the home?
Yeah, well, the hard thing to do is think about the winter when it feels like you're on the face of the sun. But the smart thing to do is to think a season or two ahead. And fall can be just absolutely glorious here, but it can also be very short. It can feel like we go summer to winter. We can go kind of from 80 degrees to freezes here. So now actually thinking about winterizing, believe it or not, is really smart. Thinking about holiday prep is really smart. So if you're in DFW, which if you're listening live, you probably are, we will occasionally have hard freezes for a couple of days and it's like the whole world shuts down. And Amazon runs out of hose bib covers and hose protectors, and we forget where the pilot light on the water heater and the furnace are and these things. So now is the time to do that stuff. It's to make sure that you've had your furnace and your heating serviced before everyone's trying to do that the same weekend. To make sure if you need some hose covers or hose bib warmers, insulators, order them now while no one else is buying them, and they're cheaper and there's plenty of inventory. If you're going to go down to the hardware store or whatever and get them, go now. Get the anti-siphon devices. I keep saying hoses, but that's exterior water is usually your dangerous stuff. Know how to shut down and bleed out your sprinkler system, or know how to insulate the valves in the boxes, which is very easy. We have videos on our YouTube channel about this. If not, just text us 214-310-0008. 214-310-0008, or just Google Todd Tremonti. You'll find our YouTube profile, our Google profile. But there's plenty of other things you can be doing when you think about landscaping and things like that. But it's not just freezes we want to prepare for. You might want to have some water on hand or a little extra food. If when we get a freeze, it's like all of a sudden everyone buys every grocery on the aisle. Sometimes in the summers, we get these rolling blackouts and we start freaking out about a generator or flashlights or whatever these things are, candles. Now's the time to be thinking about late fall, winter, and late winter, early spring is the time to be thinking about summer. So to your point, we just want to think way ahead. We can save money. We can protect our family. We can sleep better. We can be more prepared, with like a radio for weather updates, tornado season. We want to know where we're going to go, but we want to know all these things ahead of time.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that the holiday season is 7 weeks away.
Santa's coming to town.
7 weeks away.
Santa's coming to town.
Well, when does the holiday season start?
Well, it's funny that you say that. Do you want my answer or do you want to give your answer first?
You can give your answer.
In real estate, the holidays start at Halloween. All right. So October 31st is when people start to think this whole time of year is dedicated to the holidays. For most of the world, commercially and most people, that's Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there are plenty of other holidays in there, and we love this season of holidays. But in reality, it's basically November and December.
But I think you can add in there the last week or two of October because parents, kids, they're all thinking about what costume does it need to be,
sure.
what we're going to
do.
And
in a week or two into January when people are kind of coming out of it.
So now you're going, okay, we've got 5 weeks until the holiday season starts, and it's going to last for 3 months. And like people just get busy and you forget, and there's kids are in school and you've got sports. And so, yeah, you don't even think about all the stuff that you need to do in your home until you literally need to do all the stuff you need to do.
But there is an important real estate update about that.
And now this.
Homes still sell during those holiday months. And
It's true.
And sometimes that's where our biggest wins are. When other people take their eye off the real estate ball and we are able to help people hit home runs and grand slams when like everyone's just shut their brain off to real estate. Yes, ma'am. You look like you had an incredible contribution.
I know. I'm just like tracking with you guys about the fall and about our...
Listen, people, she picked up the microphone and when she's ready to speak...
you pointed to me.
We say listen. Okay. All right. If you have questions about buying, selling, or investing in residential real estate in the DFW area, 214-310-0008. 214-310-0008 or online at toddtremonteteam.com. By the way, if you have questions about real estate in any other areas, for example, Houston or Austin or Florida or Washington.
We've got people. We got people.
We not only have people that we know and we know are great, we have people that we train and coach and equip and run with day to day that are our coaching and consulting clients that are building and running systems like we run. And so we can put you in direct contact with agents all over North America when it's time for you. By the way, Canada as well. Canada's in North America. I just want to clarify the United States and Canada. When it's time for you or a friend or a family member to buy or sell or invest or upgrade or downsize or whatever the case may be, we can help you with that. And we have a great network of people that we train and we trust that can help you with that as well. But you can always start with us at 214-310-0008, 214-310-0008, or online at toddtremonteteam.com.
Todd?
Yes, sir?
It's an exciting time. Do you know why?
Oh, boy. The Borough had a big win, right?
No, we lost 5-0 in the Cup. But
Oops.
that was a week or so ago. I'm over it. I'll be okay.
Yeah, you seem
I'll
fine.
get there.
You seem fine about it.
No, look, Borough's been playing really well. Haven't been getting the results, but we've been dominating. F1, fantastic. We've got an actual season going on. Let's go, Lando. But football's
I love
back.
that hottie.
Football's back, Todd.
Gosh. The footy.
College
We're talking about American
football.
football,
We're going
right?
with American football. College football's back.
Sick 'em
Giga
Bears.
Max.
Go Tigers.
Sick 'em Bears.
NFL's
Go Tigers.
back.
Sick 'em Bears.
Go Tigers.
Sick 'em Bears. Oh, sorry. The mic's got muted. Back. We're back.
Here's a word for you. Ready?
Yep.
Let's see how we can tie fantasy football into real estate.
Fantasy football is both one of the greatest and most destructive forces in the universe. I have to confess that I am at the life stage and age where I say things like D. Johnson because I have no clue who that person is because I don't watch much football anymore. I am more of a college football guy than an NFL guy in the current life stage. So I'm even less informed on fantasy football. But here's the thing that is cool about fantasy football. It is a really, really efficient way to engage you with a sport, with friends. You know, I've always viewed fantasy football as a way to stay connected with old friends and things like that. My son is now of the age where he takes it very, very seriously. So he and I get to have some fun conversations about decision-making, about, you know, the sport itself. It makes us watch a few more games together, which I wouldn't want to watch a whole bunch more NFL on my own. But if I get to do that with my son, I'm all in. The reality is, it has long ago ceased to be a fantasy. It is real world business. It is real world
Wild.
interaction. it's obviously tied significantly to gambling. It is a major, major industry. And so I would just say, the life correlation is that, when you find a way to engage more deeply, it provides opportunities and threats. The opportunity is engagement with friends, a more exciting football watching experience. And then the threat is that you just give way too much of your life to a game, and oftentimes a silly competitive game that is less important than more important things in your life. But we did have a draft in the office, and I just wanted to check with Ian really quickly. I wanted to check in with you, Ian, real quick. After our team company draft, there were draft grades. And there was a best draft and a worst draft. Do you remember who had which ones?
Yes.
Would you mind? Would you want to share that?
Never forget.
Publicly?
Yeah, sure. You want the best ones first?
I think we start with the
I'll
best.
give a shout out to Robert. He actually walked away with the grade A.
Good job, Robert.
Really good draft. Started out strong, didn't end as strong, but still probably had.
Myself and Jeremy were both A minuses.
No one asked about where you ranked.
No,
we asked
I'm
about the
giving
best
top.
and the worst.
Yep, so I was in the top 3.
Okay. Well, once again, Ian is incapable of not saying what he needed to say about his own ranking. So we will keep him muted for just a second longer.
But
and ask Courtney.
He's going to be quick.
Courtney, do you remember where you finished?
C minus.
No, I got a plus.
Oh, that's right.
Because
it only
C
went down.
minus is
it
as far as...
didn't exist. It only went down to a C plus.
C plus.
So I didn't totally fail.
Well, you failed because the rankings only went to a C plus.
He's so
there's no
encouraging.
way that anybody's ever going to get a C.
No, you
He's
said
so
it goes to a C
encouraging.
minus.
I think C plus.
I
way
didn't
worse.
understand the draft till halfway through.
Listen.
If I had understood it, I might have done better.
So Courtney took the 8th ranked quarterback
First pick
in
of the
the
draft.
first.
No, not
hit.
just the first round. The first pick
Yeah,
of
the
the
8th
draft.
ranked quarterback in the class.
But also, she
as
likes
the first pick.
LSU, and Joe Burrow did, in fact, go to LSU. So, sick 'em Bears. All right, folks. This is a residential real estate radio show and podcast. So, if you haven't caught on to that, that's not your fault because we devolved into trash. ToddTremontiTeam.com for all your residential real estate needs. If you haven't caught the podcast lately, wherever you do watch or listen to podcasts, it is the DFW Real Estate Weekly with Todd Tremonti podcast. And we gave it the longest, most absurd name on the planet, so it would be easy for you to find. You can catch radio shows that you miss, as well as bonus podcasts about parts of town, real estate strategies, interesting discussions, and ways to win big and avoid some really painful losses when it comes to your residential real estate and the parts of your life that residential real estate touches, which is most of the parts of your life. So if we can help you with anything specific right now, 214-310-0008. That's 214-310-0008. Or you can always go online to ToddTremontiTeam.com. And you can call or text that number when we're not on the air. That is a resource to you. You can just treat us like your real estate concierge. It's like when people say, I have an attorney. It's like that person's my attorney all the time, year round. I don't use them all the time, but they're my go-to forever. That's how you should be thinking about us when it comes to your residential real estate. The Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team are your real estate people. We are your broker forever. You don't have to track stuff down. Who's a good roofer? Who's a good plumber? Who could remodel? Where should I get insurance? You can always just reach out to us. We're filtering and testing and feeling people out and gauging people for their punctuality and follow-up and pricing and quality all the time. We're thrilled to do that for you. And of course, we'd love to earn your business when it's time for you to buy or sell or invest. But we understand that doesn't happen all the time. But we do want to be adding value for you all the time. And we're thrilled to do that. All you got to do is call or text 214-310-0008 or go online to ToddTremontiTeam.com. And if you forget all of that, just Google us, Todd Tremonti. You'll find plenty of ways to get in touch with us there. Anything on your mind, Courtney? You got the mic still.
Well, is there anything I want to test me on these days? Because,
careful.
I can give you a...
What is chattel? What is chattel?
Well, we've talked about this. It's like, is that a real estate term?
Is it?
It is.
It is.
I know that it is. And a chattel, it's not a chattel.
It's not.
It's a verb.
Nope.
Nope. I forgot.
I think you nailed that one.
How about I'll give you I'll give you another Gen Z slang word. How about that one?
Choice.
Ready?
Okay.
Ready? Yeet.
Yeet.
Oh gosh.
Yeet.
Gen
That's like
Z.
awesome.
As
Got
one
it.
Of the, as one of the two meanings.
Yeet.
It can also mean throw.
Ian has
Throw
made
it? Like,
every single effort for this show to not be about real estate.
But
let's go to
this
Ian
show
on
is
what
thriving
is
today.
chattel. What is chattel?
I have no clue.
Oh gosh.
I know we've talked about this.
Chattel?
gosh.
It sounds like something that you would use on a farm.
That's actually not right, but it's in the right category.
Well, go ahead and tell us.
So chattel is like non-realty assets, kind of. It's the
The extra. The
It's
zhuzh.
the other things, right? So chattel could be peripheral assets on the property,
Like a shed.
that are tied. Shed could qualify as chattel. In Texas, we often call those non-realty items, and there's a separate addendum for them. But chattel is the other peripheral valuable asset stuffs that could be transferred with the land and the improvement.
We just don't use that word in the office.
We never use it.
Yeah.
No one uses it, but it's still always on the test. And that's why we joke about it, is because it's like, yeah, we go take these tests and we learn about chattel and the fact that there's 43,560 square feet in an acre. And then no one ever lives their life with that type of
Experts.
data.
Experts.
So anyway,
It was like my son was at school and they're in the math class and he was talking to me about the calculators that they're all currently using.
yeah.
A T183.
I mean, they're using like the same calculators that we used to use in school, like the big computer calculators. And I'm like, I was shocked.
I was
that they
too.
are still using
So
those.
my favorite school-related meme or GIF or whatever lately is it's like when your teacher in 1991 told you, you're not going to be walking around with a calculator in your pocket
Yeah.
the rest of your life. You need
Sure
to know
are.
this. And then it's kids just holding up their phones with a calculator in their pocket all day, every day.
I mean, you got to hand it to Texas Instruments. Like,
Yeah.
that is 2024 and we're still TI-83s.
and they love it.
Yeah.
Like they think it's
simple,
so cool.
basic.
They want more devices. All right, folks, if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, we are offering you a completely free strategy session. Ideally in person in our Richardson or our Fort Worth office, or we'd be happy to do that on a Zoom call, or we could at least initiate on a phone call. 214-310-0008. You can call or text the word strategy to 214-310-0008, or check us out online at toddtremonteteam.com.